You're on. Okay, so we are at Suzilla Full Service Enrollment Center here in Wenatchee, Washington.
Yes, and Matt's hot.
All right, so we're going to talk about sparking business today.
We are. That explains the hotness.
That's the hotness. And it's kind of one of those weird topics we got on. There's a couple reasons. Susie's not aware of this one.
Yeah, I'm not.
No. There was a conversation, a little Twitter thing I had. Someone running for Congress.
Okay.
And they said, my plan for Central Washington is to encourage small business.
Okay, we hear that a lot.
Barriers to entry and costs of operations cannot limit our economic growth.
Okay.
It's a very political answer for a candidate.
It is a very political answer. It's almost not a non-answer, but this candidate doesn't give anything to back up the statement.
So I did let's do the follow-up question, because follow-up questions are important.
Yes, we'll see how they spin.
And this is a nice talking point, but what are you proposing? How are you going to better enable small businesses to start and grow?
Okay, which is a valid question, because right now this candidate is basically just throwing out, we want small business. You hear that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we hear that because small business is the backbone of America.
Yeah, well,
that's the talking point, and usually it's big hat, no cattle.
Oh yeah, major league.
So the candidate,
yes.
At the fundamental level, I will work to bring out tax dollars back to this district. There has been a low to no investment in our infrastructure in 50 or more years. The result is good paying industries leaving and being replaced by minimum wage jobs.
What does that have to do with small business?
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with, that's nothing small. That is actually anti-small. It's unsmall business.
So yeah, and that's kind of the point. That
was all about bringing tax dollars back to entice industry.
Yeah.
Not build small businesses.
Yeah, it's not talking.
What did you say to him?
Well, this is part of why we're here today.
Like they're listening to this.
Well, no, it's one of those things. It's like, here you go. I give people opportunities.
You do. I'll give him major credit for that.
And here's the thing. I was like, what is business?
Okay.
And it's literally in my concept. This is my concept over the years. It is a collision of risk and opportunity that produces food on the table.
A collision?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got to have risk, and you got to have opportunity.
That's true.
And those two have got to come together in this kind of weird explosion of action, and the end result is it puts food on the table.
Ultimately, yes. At least that's the goal.
That's the goal. And there are things that people get confused with.
It's because it's confusing.
It is confusing. One of the things that we talked about in the car was college.
Yes. One of the things we were discussing is, okay, great. You take business classes. You maybe even come out with a BA.
Mm-hmm.
But great, you know how to maybe run a business or manage a business, but you're also, if you want to start a business, that's awkward if you're, $50,000 in debt.
Correct. That gives you the opportunity to have knowledge on how to do things, mm-hmm. but at the same time, it puts those chains of debt on you that mm-hmm. you can't risk, and you can't. It limits your opportunity.
Exactly. Now that's assuming you've taken out student loans, but unfortunately, it's almost a foregone conclusion these days. You don't always have. That might not be the case.
It's life. It's looking at think about when we first did the leap from me doing project management mm-hmm. with TTCC. Mm-hmm. Off into insurance.
No, you terrified me so bad.
But one of the things we did was we wiped clear the debt. We didn't owe anything on any cars.
No, we
didn't have any credit card debt.
I'm trying to think of the transition point. No. We didn't get all the way out of debt until after you started. But we had low debt.
We had low debt. And that's one of the questions that I remember Chris asking me was, what do you have to make?
Good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Chris was one of my first district manager, and he had some really interesting insight on how to do business. And that was one of the questions. It's like, okay, what do you have to make? And it's one of those questions you got to ask if you're ever bringing in a partner.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you have to make? What do you require for your survival?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people who get into business fail because they don't ask that question.
Yeah, they think, they're not prepared to make the minimum to keep themselves afloat.
Yeah, they start drawing out income instead of reinvesting in their business.
And that's not easy to do. It's scary.
Oh, it's tough.
It's tough. We, on average, invest about 30% of our income back into the business.
That's because we're at a fair amount at the beginning.
We were with serious shoestrings going on.
Yeah, we're talking holes in underwears and socks for years to do this peanut butter jelly sandwiches, top ramen.
Oh yeah.
And the jelly was made by my mother, bless her heart.
Yes, very much so.
So that reinvestment, we use that because there's a hustle culture out there.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
And it is awesome, and it is kind of it's on its way out because there are people who are ineffectively using it.
MLMs
is a good example. You're not truly owning your own business. You're plugging into a structure.
Right. And on paper, a multi-level marketing system looks great, but in practice, not so much.
There are things that you can pull out of an MLM.
There absolutely. And sometimes if your upline's really sharp, you can learn a lot.
That's the biggest thing you can do out of an MLM is A, learn, B, pull knowledge from your upline and skills.
Yes. And what you do is you take what you learn and you build your own business. You don't necessarily. The biggest problem with a lot of the current MLMs out there is you have to take your money, buy their product, and then turn around and sell it. So you end up in a hole to begin with, and that's where things fall apart.
Yeah, you that hole to begin with is you've lost your opportunity. You're trying to trade that risk of someone else doing it, someone else's invention. You're trying to reduce that risk, and in turn, you're killing your opportunity.
Exactly. Partly because one of the ways you're killing your opportunity with the multi-level marketing system is you're alienating everybody you know around you.
Oh yeah, and the thing is we as consumers, Susie and I, we actually buy and use some of the products in these MLMs
because we're supporting the people who are selling them.
Correct. Direct to consumer is awesome. And sometimes they have great products.
Oh yeah, Cutco's a great example.
Cutco, yeah, we got a shout out to Cutco. They actually ran a kind of a regional office
one summer for the and of course it was awkward and tricky, but we bought a couple of very useful knives.
And it was funny because we actually it was the manager of the office.
Yeah, and that's where we got our succulents.
Yes, where we got our plants. It was funny because she is so much like us that she didn't know about it until she left. Yeah. Back up to Alaska.
Yep.
And I laughed because it was we were one of the few businesses we took our no solicitation sign off, and yeah, we take solicitors on a regular basis.
Yeah, come on in. We'll talk to you. We'll sell you insurance.
Well, yeah, we'll hear your pitch and
you'll hear ours.
And that's part of being supportive because everyone's got a pitch if they're building. We got what's the chef ingredients we got? The spoons and spatulas you bought years ago.
Pampered Chef.
Pampered Chef. There's another good example. We've used these products for decades.
Yeah, I've got a couple. We've got some really amazing bamboo stirring sticks and a really good potato peeler.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Tupperware. We love our Tupperware.
Oh, yeah.
It's actual real Tupperware. It's not the cheap stuff you get at the store. It's actual Tupperware. We got some for our wedding.
Yep. And
this stuff is indestructible.
Yep.
And we've managed to salvage the large green bowl.
The big green bowl. Everyone likes the big green bowl that everyone had everyone our age had when they were a kid growing up.
Mm-hmm.
The giant salad, the barf bowl, the big mixer bowl, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, but that is supporting small business.
It is, and that's Tupperware is an MLM with an exceptionally good product.
Correct. It's got a great product. I don't know. That really depends on who your upline is, on what skills they teach you.
It's about uplines and whether or not they're willing to share their sales skills. Now, if you end up in a really diluted upline where you're not, dealing with one of the top emerald tier people, and you end up 4 or 5 people down from them, and you're really diluted, then you may not be getting those leadership training.
Yeah, they're important. And there are examples of them going completely sideways. The LuLaRoe. Watch it. I actually did back in 2000, around 2000, late 90s, early 2000s. I did Amway. It was Quick Start at the time. So I got the granddaddy. So it taught me a little bit of, it tied in with that inventory skills and bookkeeping.
When I was a kid, just to like elementary, junior high, one of my friends, Amy, hi Amy, her folks he was way up in the not way up in the Amway, but he was making a living with Amway.
Okay.
And supporting his family. And
so he must have been an emerald level.
I guess. I don't know. I never really got into it that much. But yeah, he was doing fine with it. I mean, you could see he was hustling like a madman. Yeah. But that's part of the deal. Now, this is one way where you can learn the skills of how to start your own business with some drawbacks. And then we talked about college. Learn some skills, learn some classes.
Learn some classes.
And not a lot of necessarily practical stuff, but with drawbacks. Or you could just jump into it, higgledy-piggledy, like a lot of us do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to be aware of you've got to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses.
You got to figure out what your product is.
Yes.
We actually had a conversation about the questions on starting your own business.
Yep.
You'll have to review one of our earlier ones.
Yeah.
But you have to look at what your product is. We do, our service is really simple. We connect our clients with insurance products.
Correct. We also created a business that our little business, our little brokerage is based on a well-established industry.
Yes, this stuff has been along since the time of Babylon.
So yes, we are a small business. Yes, we are self-created, but yes, we are also in a well-established industry that some people actually call multi-level marketing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that is on the outside looks kind of weird.
It does.
It's one of the actually simplest things to plug into. And it's not at the same time.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of mysteries.
And a lot of people not talking about the mysteries.
Yeah. It's one of the things that you can really ask. It's like, okay, who's your insurance through? And they'll say, I've got State Farm. I'll pick on State Farm or Allstate or American Family. It's like, okay, who's your agent? The agent is the question you always want to ask. Who's your agent? Because at the end of the day, the agent is just plugging someone into a product. And if that product goes sideways and there's a need of use, I know someone that had water damage in a bathroom recently. And I said, oh, that's a tough one. That's a claim. You need to go to whoever your agent is, and you need to work through that to your satisfaction. If that satisfaction is not there, you need to file a complaint with your office, the insurance
Right,
commissioner.
because your agent is your advocate with the company. And that's where, with the whole, just go with your Geicos and your Progressives, where you just call them up and you don't have an agent. You are your own agent.
Yeah.
There's that old saying, he who represents himself in court has a fool for a client.
Well, one of our first connections, Josh Mezzanier.
Mezier.
He was, I don't know if he's still credited with it. He was a Medicare guy.
Yeah, he was trying to make Medicare happen.
And he was all licensed in health, and he did why should I sign up with you instead of just going direct?
For Medicare?
For health insurance.
For health insurance. Why should we partner up?
Well, and I looked at him in the eye, and it's like, okay, number one, I'm trained in this. You haven't sat in classes for this product. You haven't worked with the different companies of the product, so you don't know about that. The second thing is my E&O.
Yeah, that's true. Errors and omissions policy.
When you're with a professional group, you will have a what's called professional insurance. Doctors have it. It's called malpractice insurance.
Correct.
Lawyers will have it.
Also, errors and omissions, or medical or lawyer or legal malpractice.
Yeah,
it's insurance in case something goes south.
Yeah, it happens. A board of directors will have insurance for liability if events go south. So it's one of those things when you create these professional, a business owner will have insurance.
We never want to use it.
You never want to use it.
But you want to have it.
You want to have it.
And sometimes you gotta have it.
For example, when you're a contractor, you have to have your policy for your liability of completed goods, and you have to file it with the Labor and Industries.
Right.
If you're hiring a contractor, you want to look that up.
Yes.
And that's one of those things, because you quickly see are they licensed to do business in this state? So you check that out. So yeah, that is a opportunity and risk.
Yes.
Using someone that doesn't have that one, you're risking a lot.
Because if you sue them, they've got no easy way. If you have to sue them because they've screwed up, you're going to be hard pressed to get any settlement out of them. An E&O, a liability contract, a liability policy gives them a source of financing to pay those bills off.
Oh yeah.
I am not encouraging you to sue your contractor.
Heck no. But that having someone that is tied in with labor and industries, if they've got any problems.
If they've had complaints against them.
That's one of the things Susie's done, more than once, is showed me, this pharmacist or this doctor has had these complaints. And it's like, oh my gosh, how they're still in business.
You can do that. That's public knowledge. You can go to the State Department of Health and look up a provider's license number and see if they've had any actions against them.
So yeah, there are ways to, seek out.
Do that.
So that's one of the ways that you when you're evaluating someone, evaluating hiring or partnering with someone, you start to do your research. Because if you research, you are eliminating risk.
Reducing risk.
You're reducing risk.
Yeah.
Because hey, I've got this great deck I need to build. Well, do they have any experience building deck? Or have they had 5 lawsuits concerning deck collapse?
Yeah.
Which would
which one do you want to go with?
One? And sometimes our friends are not the best because of hiring people. Their project might be different. And some of them are, quite frankly, they are kind of floating through life.
Yeah, and you know what?
And business isn't about floating.
No, these are usually people who don't own their own businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine.
Oh yeah,
That is absolutely fine to be doing that. We're not judging you if you're just floating through life. We don't do that as. I mean, I could have. If I hadn't met Matt, I probably would be.
yeah.
Because the man sitting across from me right now has got a fire in his belly that he shared with me.
Yeah, and that's one of those. And the really weird thing is Susie came out of family came out of the industry.
Mm-hmm. And I saw I saw some of the downsides of it. And when Matt said, I want to be in insurance, I begged and pleaded for him not to.
Yeah, you didn't quite understand the as a kid growing up, you didn't understand the lifestyle that your dad led.
I guess not, no.
And I don't know if your mom ever really kind of grasped it.
I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. But you start to see signs of people that are encouraging others to do business.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we here, Suzilla, Susie Health Solutions, Team McComb, that's one of the things we are kind of committed to doing is helping our local small business startups get started.
Yeah.
You know, we want to support you. If we've got some, a few dollars you need to spend on your product, we'll probably spend it on your product. Matt is constantly reaching out to our new business owners and saying, hey, I've got some ideas. Can you want to come talk about this and talk about, some of the marketing stuff I've learned, and maybe I can help you share how I do my stuff, and maybe you can, squeeze some ideas.
Well, yeah, one of the things last year we did was tail end of 19.
Yeah, I think it was.
20.
Yeah.
Was when Nikki set up her thing and did a Patreon account.
Yes.
And we plugged into that, and we helped her out because we think that is a viable industry. Her baronet on providing. If you haven't checked it out, you need to check it out. It's a great programming. And I can see that, slowly develop. It takes time.
It does.
And most people don't understand it. It takes time to develop a new idea. It's not instantaneous. It takes a lot of hard work. And we've done that over and over and over again. Some succeed, some don't. Some change along the way.
I just watch Shark Tank and you see how things change.
Yeah. I had a gal, want to do cleaning business. Awesome. That's a great startup. It's a great industry. She was struggling with business cards and ads and how to do ads. So I showed her how to do ads, a real simple program, and created a couple for her, plugged them up, and got some business cards ordered for her. This year we're looking at someone that is interested in doing vinyl.
Yeah. The stickers you see on the back of cars with the little families and T-shirts and cups and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff you see on Etsy. Etsy's a good vehicle. Very good vehicle for that.
You also see it on Facebook. There are Facebook ads for that. The whole T-shirt press. That's huge. If she can get people out there buying T-shirts. My aunt.
Yes.
Ran the T-shirt store in the East Wenatchee Mall.
No, it's Wenatchee.
Wenatchee Mall.
It's Wenatchee Valley Mall.
That's how old, so it's like,
it was the Valley North Mall.
So, yeah, that's on how, it's like, okay, you want to do T-shirts? Okay. You can do T-shirts. That's viable. I've got friends that are doing it in Florida with the Collie Center. So, yeah, we there's sometimes we spark it, sometimes we use it.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's a little of both. Sometimes we commiserate.
Yes.
And it's like I said, it's a lifestyle. We don't simply, go to Walmart, buy our groceries, go have a job that we get a salary for, do our 9 to 5 and don't really, have, miss out on life, because there's so much more to life.
Now you're being judgmental about.
I'm allowed to be judgmental at times.
Sometimes
this is not a no judgment day.
It is not a no judgment day. But bear in mind, sometimes the people who do the 9 to 5, go buy their groceries because of their 9 to 5, do get the opportunity to enjoy life, because they don't have as many pressures, because they just know that they get their 2 weeks vacation and they go do
what it is. And this is what it is. And I'm going to use a physics term.
Yuki.
They have potential energy.
Some of them do, some of them don't.
No.
Everyone does?
They all have potential energy. They have potential energy to go and do what they want to do. And sometimes that potential energy has to build up.
Yes.
And it has to build up. And we're starting to see some of that release of energy in this great resignation.
Yes, we are. See, I had to build up my potential energy before I was ready to quit my 9 to 5 job.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went boom.
Well, I think they helped kick you out of the nest a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was getting ready to go.
You were getting ready to go, and you were gonna leave on your terms, and you know what?
I did.
You still did.
I did. I was gonna leave after a certain date because it was gonna build up a certain amount of vacation time that I could charge out, but that's not what happened. But it's a whole nother story.
I was thinking that we might want to do a cake service.
No, geez, a resignation cake service.
A resignation cake service.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, because that's one of those things that Susie and I both did. We both worked for large corporations for years.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the time, we knew without a doubt there would be zero celebration when we left.
No one's going to say, congratulations, you're on your way, cake.
Yeah, there was no attaboys. We were the worker bees. So what did we do? We worked our little bees, and we brought our own.
We made our own party.
Which
I highly encourage.
Yeah, we highly encourage. So that's looming out there. It's like, we could have a resignation cake.
Don't hesitate to do that if you're quitting your job.
Correct. It's one of those things that can make you A, have fun with it. B, your coworkers will remember you forever.
I'm still a legend.
You're still a legend from that.
People still know about it. And I don't know if anyone ever really talks about yours.
That's been over a dozen years.
Yeah. I picture your cake somewhere.
Yeah, we got pictures of the cake. It's one of those things that is, I feel bad for anyone still working there, because it was a dangerous, nasty place. It was food processing, which a lot of those places had strikes. Yeah. Because because of the extended hours, the danger to it, your own personal health. Literally we had people who, worked there, 30, 40 years and then keel over after they retired and died.
Oh yeah. That was a standard with Alcoa. You retire and you're dead in a year.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot more to life than that. It encourage, dream. And if you're not dreaming hard, encourage others to dream.
Right.
If you have a product that you are doing, a service or product that you are doing remotely, we're looking at launching Suzilla over on the coast with a radio and its exposure to
Central Washington,
to thousands of people. So if you're able to do that and you want to plug in, let us know. Yeah. We should have the conversation because we want, to sponsor small businesses for that large audience to come over and experience the good things that you're offering here. So, hey, have a great week.
Yes, indeed.
And we will talk to you soon.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
Bye.